Hello, this is Jefferson Graham. You are listening to the podcast companion to the Photowalk episode all about Cincinnati, Ohio, the Queen City, Cincy, Cincinnati, the Natty. Cincinnati is one of the jewels in the Midwest. It's a joy to go check out and photograph. I saw so many buildings there that knocked me out. Met some new friends who you're gonna meet in this episode. We have some extended interviews with them. I've got a top 10 list for you on things to do and see, and let me run through them, and then I will introduce you to our guests. You'll want to begin in Covington, Kentucky, to do a photo walk across the river. It's about a 10-minute walk over the bridge. If you start in Covington, there's plenty of parking, which is why I recommend starting in Covington. Once you're there, you look over and you see a beautiful skyline right across the river. So parking's easier, and then you can walk over this incredible bridge, the John Roebling Suspension Bridge, built in 1866. It's a marvel. It inspired Roebling's next project, which was the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's that type of bridge. Now, as you cross over, you'll be on the banks of the river and the city, and the first thing you're going to see is the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. It's one of the most powerful landmarks in town. It tells the story of the enslaved people who crossed the river into freedom. Ohio was a free state. Kentucky was not. And Ohio had a crucial role bordering Kentucky and in the Civil War era. Number two, to the right, you've got the Great American Ballpark, which is the home of the first professional baseball team in America. So you might want to check out a Reds game, which is a lot of fun. Even if you're not into baseball, you can eat really well there with chili and sausage and pizza and geta, which we'll get into in a minute. Leave the ballpark, check out Vine Street and Fountain Square. A lot of great old buildings that you'll notice. And when you get to Fountain Square, it's the heart of the city. And it was the site of the opening credits of the old TV show from the 1970s, WKRP in Cincinnati. So if you're of a certain age, you will definitely recognize it. Next, the Findlay Market. It's Ohio's longest continuously operating public market since 1852. It's been open every day except for Monday ever since. And you might want to give Barb a call at Cincinnati Food Tours. She can show you around and tell you all about it, and you're going to meet Barb in a minute. After we leave the market, we're in the Over the Rhine neighborhood, which is a 19th century immigrant neighborhood with beautifully preserved buildings. Walk a few blocks up to Washington Park, admire the iconic Cincinnati Music Hall, which is home to the symphony, ballet, opera, and more. It was at the park where I doused my iPhone in a fountain just to show that I could. The highlight for me of Cincinnati, besides meeting some of these great people, was the Union Terminal. It's an incredible old Art Deco train station. It's an architectural icon. Today it houses several museums. It has limited train travel. The star is the massive rotunda with mosaic murals inside. It looks spectacular by day, even more so when it's lit up at night, and you probably saw the building in the recent Superman movie where it served as the home base for the Justice League, who hang out there. And it was seen in the old Justice League cartoons back in the 1970s. And the backstory for that was that Hanna-Barbera made the cartoons, and they were owned by Taft Broadcasting, which was then based in Cincinnati. And that's how the animators got inspired. So that's your walk. And from here, you're going to jump in the car and drive to places. So I'm going to send you over to the American Sign Museum, which is on Monmouth Avenue. Let's pronounce it that way. They've got over 500 restored neon signs from roadside diners, motels, and theaters. It's the biggest collection of signs I ever saw, and you'll think you're in Vegas. Really cool. Then you're going to go around the corner and have lunch or dinner at Camp Washington Chili. Cincinnati and chili go hand in hand. Their chili is different from anyone else's that you've ever had. Theirs is a sweet and savory Greek-influenced sauce served over spaghetti. And in Cincinnati, you can get a 3-way, a 4-way, or a 5-way. The 5-way is spaghetti, chili, cheese, onions, and beans. 4-way, no beans. And the 3-way has no onions. And you're going to meet Maria in a minute, who's going to tell you about chili. Then for dessert, my little rap here is that I've been to over 118 different locations filming Photowalks over the years. I've had an ice cream cone in every last one. I've had ice cream in Sicily, Paris, and Barcelona, Tokyo, Tijuana. I've had ice cream cones in Amarillo all the way up to Zion National Park. And the greatest ice cream I've ever had in my life was in Cincinnati at Grater's, where they still use 2.5-gallon French pot freezers, and they make everything in small batches. The result is incredibly dense, creamy ice cream with surprising giant chunks of chocolate goodness that make their appearances in your bites. And that's a wow. Their number one flavor is black raspberry chocolate chip. I had cherry chocolate chip, and I had double chocolate chip and a chocolate soda too. It was all incredible. Sunsets and sunrises. Mount Adams in Cincinnati is a great place to get a skyline view, and it's just go right up the hill. It's also home to the Cincinnati Art Museum in a cool old neighborhood. Cross the river again into Covington, Kentucky, and go to DeVoe Park. There's an overlook. It's the ultimate skyline shot. You can't beat it. The lights on the Roebling Bridge and the towers of downtown Cincinnati really come alive at dusk, and I went there every night. Now, on that note, let's start meeting some really cool people. Maria, who you will hear, she'll tell you she's third generation, and she runs Camp Washington Chili. Let's have Maria tell you all about it.
Yes, it was started actually in 1922 by Greek immigrants, and they started this place called Empress Chili. And then all the Greeks, when they came to Cincinnati, started working for this family. And they saw them making, lots of money, going to the bank with bushels. And they're like, hey, we can do this. So all the Greeks that worked for that family branched off and started their own, including our family, the big chains, they also work there. So that's how it started. But nobody knows how these original Greeks came up with the concept of putting the chili over spaghetti. And then they added cheese later. So at first it was just chili and spaghetti and the coney dogs without the cheese. But it was a very inexpensive but hearty meal for immigrants back then and blue-collar workers. So that's why it took off. You could get in, be fed in 5 minutes, and probably out in 10.
Okay, let's start with the menu. You've got a 3-way, a 4-way, and a 5-way.
Yes.
Which do you recommend that we do today?
Well, if you like chili, spaghetti, onions, beans, and cheddar cheese, that's a 5-way, then get that. If you're not a bean person, knock out the beans, that's a 4-way. If you don't like beans or onions, then that's spaghetti, chili, and cheese, it's a 3-way. Depends what you like.
What's the most popular?
Probably a 4-way onion, I would say. At least that's my favorite.
Well, if 4-way is good for you, 4-way is good for me.
Okay.
And you'll have some 4-way while we're having
Sure.
4-way. I'm told that when you come in a white shirt to Camp Washington Chili, you need to wear a bib.
Yes, especially if you have a spouse who does your laundry. So I do my own laundry. I don't have to wear a bib. But if your wife does your laundry, then yes, you should wear a bib.
Tell me and everybody the art of eating Cincinnati chili.
First, you
Yes.
have to turn it this way, vertical.
Vertical.
Most people, when they eat their spaghetti, do the twirl.
Yeah.
Which I won't yell at you for that, because sometimes I do the twirl. But in Cincinnati, you're supposed to cut and scoop. That way you get every layer. You get the cheese, the onion, the spaghetti, and the chili all in one bite. If you do the twirl, you might lose the onion, you might lose the cheese.
Okay, so cut and just like that,
Yes,
right?
sir.
It's really good. Different. How many bowls of chili do you have a day?
Twirling.
Oh, no twirling.
That's okay. So we go through 60 gallons of chili in a 24-hour period. And I'll show you our big chili vats where we make that.
While I was in Cincinnati, I made good friends with Dwayne Slavey. He is the chief photographer for WPCO TV. He helped me shoot part of this episode. And of course, Photowalks airs Sundays at 4:30 on WCPO. And I'm going to have Dwayne tell you all about some of the best photo spots in town. You've been photographing in Cincinnati for how long?
Oh, wow. I've been a photographer for 30 plus years. I'm from here, born and bred in the Cincinnati area. So kind of been dabbling in it for a while.
Of the three C's, the three cities, which is the best for photography?
As in?
Well, the three C's being Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland.
Well, it has to be Cincinnati.
And why?
You know, we have an iconic skyline. It's kind of funny if you travel in from the south coming north. I've heard this a lot from a lot of people, especially coming back from vacations. You're coming down what is called the Cut in the Hill on I-71, 75. You're going northbound. You take that turn and you just see the city of Cincinnati in its glory. I've taken this for granted for many years because being born and bred here, I look at it differently, but it's depending on the time of day, there's all kinds of places to hit. You have the historic areas of Covington, you have the historic areas of over the Rhine in Cincinnati. If you want to get up onto the hills, and that includes the hills in northern Kentucky and Cincinnati both, they're just iconic views of the city.
Okay, and I hear the chili's good here too.
Gotta love the chili. I will tell you though, and I will put this as a side note, again, being born and bred here, the chili is a little different for everybody else. If you're looking for the big, thick Texas-style chili, that's not what you're getting. You want a nice, I always say the Cincinnati-style chili is cinnamon-based. So it's going to have a little twist to it that, you know, works well. Don't give it up on the three ways, cheese conies, and that kind of stuff. Put it on your chili and spaghetti, and you got it.
Okay, chili and spaghetti.
Yep.
That's how we like it.
Oh, exactly.
Does it feel weird when you go to other places and they would never dream maybe on rice or something, right?
You know, we get a bad rap at times from people that come in from out of town because they'll look at it and say, this isn't really chili. Well, it's because it's Cincinnati chili. So it's a little bit different, but it's its own product. It's very good.
Okay, and for someone who has not come here before, you want to give them a weekend in Cincinnati?
Wow, it depends on the time of year. There's plenty of stuff to do. We are really well known for our museums, art museum. We have the Union Terminal, which has a children's museum. We also have plenty of stuff to do with sports. So there are Cyclones hockey, there's baseball with the Reds, there's football with the Bengals. FC Cincinnati, which is our MLS team, has just grown like crazy, and we have a really good following there. Also really, really good for cuisine. So you can find all kinds of stuff to do here in the Natty.
Okay, and as far as five must-have photo spots, we're going to start with the bridge, and what else?
So I will start with the Roebling Suspension Bridge. That's just iconic to Cincinnati. We also have, which is in the shot, we have the Great American Tower that was built, I forget how many years ago it's built, which is the tallest building in Cincinnati now. You're going to find that from any place across either Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, around there. So it pops. The tiara on top of that is lit up at night. It's just beautiful. Other places to go. I'm trying to think. You have Union Terminal, the Museum Center. Very nice to look at, especially at night. That's going to be more of sunset shots or nighttime shots once it's lit up. I suggest going into the museum center or there and look at the rotunda. The rotunda is just beautiful, and it's a really grand sight to see when you go in there. Other places to go. You can go down to what they call the banks, which is going to be right along the river banks of Cincinnati and on the Cincinnati side. And I'll get to something else about that in a second, but the Cincinnati side where the banks is located, again, restaurants, bars, living spaces down there, but it is between the two ballparks and a little bit further along the river. And depending on where the river levels are, you can go down, walk along the river, what they call serpentine wall. But it's beautiful down there. We have a great park system. I hear we're ranked well into the top 10 in the country, sometimes even within the top 5 to top 2 in the country for park systems around here. The other place, and it's kind of funny when we talk about Cincinnati, is that you typically do need, your better shots are from Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky has a beautiful skyline to photograph at night, depending on how you look at it. But the better shots are from Northern Kentucky looking back at Cincinnati across the river.
When I went to St. Louis, I shot in East St. Louis. When I go to San Francisco, I shoot from Treasure Island.
Yep.
It's always, that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
What do you like about living here?
I tell you what, it's a very diverse city. We have so much going on. It's kind of, and again, I take it for granted. I've lived here all my life. I'm 53 years old. Sometimes I didn't venture out to places only because of our jobs, and that's the cool part about it, is based on my job, I get to see a lot of the city. And I think the diversity is one of the big parts about it, because you can go and do just about anything you want, from the culture, food, sports. You can kind of hit anything and everything, and you're going to find something that hits your style.
Okay, finally, we call it Cincy, we call it the Natty. Right? Those are
it just depends on how you want to put it. You know, some people will call it Cincinnati, some people call it Cincinnati. The Natty, Cincy, it kind of goes all the way through with stuff.
Now let's get back to food. Say hi to Barb from Cincinnati Food Tours, who's going to tell you all about Findlay Market. Now there's so many great historic buildings in Cincinnati, and the river and the bridge, but you love the market. Why the market?
Because it is such a microcosm of the greater Cincinnati area. We have such diversity here as far as the shoppers, but also the types of food available. You can find food from around the world at Findlay Market. It's just a great place to come and really experience what the people are like. Everybody gets to know their vendors. It's so personal, total different shopping experience than a big box store.
Okay, so your usual tour is to start people at the Findlay Market and then take them outside to the Over the Rhine neighborhood?
That's actually a bit of it. We do a little separate tour though, like Over the Rhine, we do a little bit more in-depth tour and go to restaurants. This is more of a tasting tour within and directly around the market. So we do that regularly. They meet 5 different vendors. We sample some foods, and we really get to know what this place is all about.
Okay.
So let's walk down here. Yeah,
So it's been here a few years.
Yeah, actually it's been here since 1852. If you see these red painted beams and iron construction, that's original. And the market's been in continuous operation since 1852.
Not one day off, huh?
No, one day, well, Mondays. Other than that, but we've been open every year. We're the longest continuously operated public market in Ohio. A lot of mom and pop businesses here who are 2nd and 3rd generation. There's one of them that's 6th generation.
And you say we. Are you part of the market? Or do you feel like you're part of the market?
I feel as if I'm a part of it. Once you're here for a while, you become part of the market. They're very supportive of what I do, because my mission is to expose people to all these great little businesses.
Okay, food question. Cincinnati chili, those 2 words go hand in hand. That's what Cincinnati is known for. What other foods are we known for?
Well, the one that is so unique to Cincinnati is Geta. That is a food that the German immigrants actually invented. They settled around this Findlay Market area in the mid-19th century as they immigrated from Europe to start lives here in the Midwest. They often worked in the pork packing houses and slaughterhouses, and consequently there was a lot of waste, and they didn't always know what to do with it, and they were feeding large families. And they created this dish that is a combination of pork, and today we also use beef chuck, and we use pinhead oats and some seasonings, and make almost like a little sausage patty. Very common on breakfast menus in Cincinnati. Usually you have a choice of bacon, sausage, or Geta when you go to a breakfast restaurant. And you won't find Geta if you go more than about 60 miles from Cincinnati. People have never heard of it.
You're an ambassador for Cincinnati, right?
Well,
is that official, or you just say that?
I guess it's sort of official. Like I got recognized once as that by the Visit Cincy tourism people. But I do honestly feel like there's so many people that take that on, that ambassadorship. Even I have 5 guides that help me, and they're as passionate about telling people how great Cincinnati is as I am.
Which begs the question, why? Why are you passionate? What is it about Cincinnati?
Well, I think you start to meet the people, and it really is the Midwest hospitality, the people like Josh we just met that didn't know you from anybody and talk to you like you're an old friend and would love to share more. I find when I do my regular tours, the conversations start between people. If you've got people from out of town and locals, the locals are suddenly saying, well, don't forget to go down by the river and walk the Smale Riverfront Park Trail, or my favorite restaurant is, and everybody has a little something they want to share. And I think that's Midwest hospitality, and that's why I love it here.
Okay, for someone who has not been to Cincinnati before, tell them about Cincinnati. What makes it unique?
Well, I think it's a small, big city. It is so compact, and we don't have the huge traffic issues that so many big metropolises have. You can walk all over this neighborhood. You can walk from where we are at Findlay Market to where the Cincinnati Bengals or the Reds play in 15 minutes. It's easy to get around, and I think we have all the arts you could want. We've got the opera, the ballet, the symphony. We've got all the professional sports you could want with the Bengals and the Reds, and then we have MLS soccer with FC Cincinnati. And so you get a lot of these amenities without the high cost of living and also the stress of a larger city.
Well, what I'm gleaning is a lot of history here,
Okay.
a lot of respect for their history.
That's good.
Amazing buildings.
Yeah.
Just like knocked out. Photography-wise, knocked out.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is so true because, sorry, we're going to have to start that one again. One thing you never do is forget to turn off your phone.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah, I think what else makes Cincinnati special, especially when an out-of-towner comes, is how we preserve the history. So many cities just take an old building that looks kind of nasty and tear it down and start over. In Cincinnati, there's a concerted effort to save what we can. Each of these buildings has a story to tell, and we have delved into that. And so I think that is a connection with the people living here now and then those who lived in the past. And so there's so many traditions and things that people carry on that have just really kept the spirit of Cincinnati alive.
And if you had to pick 2 or 3 of these great old buildings that people have to go see?
Well, one would be Music Hall, where we're going to head shortly. One would be Union Terminal, used to be our old railroad station. That's now our museum center, and those are absolutely gorgeous buildings. Plenty of places to take photos.
What is it about Grader's Ice Cream? Everybody says when you come to Cincinnati, you have to go to Grader's Ice Cream. Ice cream is ice cream, you know?
Yeah, but it is special. It's a company that's been here since 1870, started by a grocer, started making ice cream out of his back of his house and serving it on the street. And today it's a huge company. You can buy it in the grocery stores. You can buy it at a bunch of different ice cream parlors, but it's still made the old-fashioned way, French press. They make it just a few gallons at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not the...
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about that.
What is French press?
Don't ask me all these. That one's too hard.
I'm sorry.
It's like
They make it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it's like they actually... Like they don't just
churn
squirt it. Yeah, it's a churning process, almost like a kneading, I think, process.
Do you have a favorite flavor there?
I love their black raspberry chip.
Yeah, that's what they told me to get.
It has huge chunks of basically a chocolate bar floating around in this ice cream.
Finally, when I stayed in Cincinnati, I was at the Best Western in the cute little suburb of Marymount. This is a 100-year-old planned community. A benefactor wanted a little English-type village that resembled what you might find in England, and she gave the town a lot of money. She recreated it, and the Best Western, which wasn't the Best Western back then, but the Marymount Inn is the centerpiece of the town. They also have several barbershops, ice cream parlors, movie theaters. It's a great place, and I met Mike from the restaurant who told me all about it.
My name is Mike Pardo.
How do you spell Pardo?
Pardo.
All right. So we're in a restaurant that's 42 years old.
That's correct. Celebrated on April 2025 of 42 years of continuous service here to the Marymount community.
Tell us about Marymount.
Marymount is obviously a historic community, nationally designated as a historic community in 2007, but was the original vision of Mary Emery. Mary Emery was of good means, of course, and she desired to create a community which had a real sense of place. 100 years later, you're surrounded by her vision, including walking trails, a number of restaurants and cafes, coffee shops, theater, ice cream shop, and of course, the hotel, which next year will also be celebrating 100 years.
From what I read on the website, she envisioned this as a place for people in Cincinnati to live the country lifestyle, basically. Right?
Yes, very true. At the same time, our urban core was having its issues without any plumbing and that. She found that to not be very attractive and desired to create a community outside of the urban core that would attract families for generations, and she had developed with John Nolan, who was one of the original community founders here, this English Tudor style buildings and architecture you see today.
The whole town was designed to be like a British countryside town.
Very much so, including she took vision from her own homes that she had around, including one I believe in Massachusetts or so. And in fact today the community in the village of Marymount still continues to try to aspire to her vision and is regularly investing in the community. We have a beautiful bell tower there, obviously one of the better school systems in the greater Cincinnati area, and just a really nice walking community.
Walking just like a little village, or is there more to the walk?
Yeah, this is designated a village, and throughout the year they do host a walking kind of a tour of the different areas around here. There's lots of different landmarks, including up at our village township over here where we have a nice little museum. We are also right by Little Miami River, so we have a number of trails, bike trails, walking trails, and hiking trails, all very unique to this area.
Okay, and who comes out here? Like the people that you see, are they people that are visiting Cincinnati that drive out? Do they make a point of staying here if they're going into Cincinnati? What
Absolutely, we're a very blessed community, an eclectic group of folks, including businessmen and women stay over here, people looking for a weekend getaway over here, people who have lived here prior, who have moved away, come back and stay here at our hotel and utilize the restaurant for months at a time. In fact, we have a number of guests currently in the hotel who have been here for 2 or 3 months. It's a great getaway. It's really recognized throughout Ohio as being a great sense of place. We have a community pool in the area as well, and just a number of breweries throughout on this side of the east side.
So that's Cincinnati. Highly, highly, highly recommended. If you have the opportunity, please go check out the Photowalks episode. It's on YouTube, and of course Photowalks airs on Scripps News every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'd love to hear from you. Email is photowalkstv@gmail.com. Send in your questions, your comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. And you know what? I'll see y'all on the next Photowalk.